It's one of those things. It is. And no matter what we do, it's the same thing over and over again as it relates to like the injury bug, the debate between our own fan base. And I love healthy debates. I do. It's a great thing to witness, basically. Especially when you're thinking about the Dallas Cowboys and the marketing arm, the Jerry Wayne Jones, the John Stephen Jones of the world, right? Now, here's the situation. The Dallas Cowboys, we face 2 games that we must win in order to get in. The Washington must lose out, so we don't control our own destination, right? But we do want to exhibit and exude good tape out there, and we still want to give a true evaluation for the team. Let me just give you guys the injury situation. Michael Gallup, he's out for the remainder of the season for that hip situation. This will be a great opportunity for Noah Brown to step up, Cedric Wilson to step up, to see if we can properly evaluate our backup of the backup as it relates to the wide receivers. Both of those guys, I think they showcased some good stuff throughout this year in spurts or what have you. But now they'll be given 2 games and 2 opportunities to showcase their real talent. The other thing would be, it seems as if though as soon as we elevate a defensive back, he get injured. And that's Chris Westery. He will be out for the year. He's battling some type of injury. He's out. So it may be his last shot for the Dallas Cowboys. They may look at somebody else down the line, and maybe we elevate whoever. But I think that in this particular draft, they're going to go out there and get a defensive back. 2 things that is part of Mike McCarthy's situation. Even when he was in Green Bay, they always draft defensive backs and they always draft quarterbacks. Why did you mention quarterback? Well, Stephen Jones, he came out on 105.3 The Fan. He had his weekly press conference / interview.
Have you got to see Jalen Hurts play? I know it's just limited time so far, but he had a nice game yesterday afternoon. And what do you think, like, who does he remind you of, or what do you think so far of what you're seeing from Hurts?
Well, you have to admire what he's doing. We watched the game yesterday, the Philly game, and against the Cardinals. And, he's just amazing what he's doing as a rookie, just stepping right in. The things here, he's got a ton of respect on the team. He's a hard worker. I mean, to some degree, he reminds you, and I'm not gonna go as far as to say all the details of his skill field, but his leadership, competitiveness does remind him. His success he's having quickly reminds a lot of our guy Dak. So, and this is just what I'm seeing from afar. It's so unfair for me to judge.
How interested were y'all at the draft with him?
We looked at him really hard, and certainly, obviously our guy is Dak, and but at the same time, Mike's a big proponent of, continuing to look at quarterbacks, and he went off the board as he should have, there in the second round, and we certainly had interest in him, but as I've said all along, our complete commitments to Dak Prescott, and look forward to getting his deal at some point finished and getting him back on the field. He's certainly the leader of this team, and we certainly miss him.
And he said, yeah, they were high on Jalen Hurts. You guys remember him? Jalen Hurts was a guy that they really paid close attention to. And I guess they're talking about the fact that Jalen Hurts is showing out over there in Eagles land. And I'm quite sure that the Cowboys, if he was available, they would have drafted Jalen Hurts. I'm quite sure. But he did preface his statements, and with context, he said, hey, he's still a pro believer in Dak Prescott, basically. Nevertheless, it is what it is. We will find out how much they believe in Dak Prescott when it's time to sign the brother, right? Now, I do know a lot of people go back and forth and say, well, hold on. They gave him a contract he just didn't sign. So we'll see how all of this stuff shape up when it's time. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to touch on that. But I'm going to jump back to the running back situation. The Ezekiel Elliott versus Tony Pollard. Everybody loved the the verses. A lot of people love the drama. And I'm sitting back looking at the Cleveland Browns, and they got 2 dynamic running backs. 2 of them, not 1, but 2. And you don't hear a word of who's better, who should get the ball. Now, I do know that money plays a different type of role in it, but just look at within the confines of they don't have that back and forth with their fans. They happy that they're winning. Why we just can't use 2 running backs and one can be good for this and the other one can be good for that, right? Right? Let's stop pointing the fingers and say, okay, this and that. I remember, like I said in my morning video, people were saying, hey, since we got CeeDee Lamb, let's ship Gallup off. Since Gallup was balling at one point, let's ship Amari Cooper off. Do not sign Amari Cooper. How about let's just stick with what we got and roll that thing out. Now, I do know that people can look at the fact and say, well, Law, this is Michael Gallup's second year being injured now. You might want to look into this. You might want to get your value out of Michael Gallup before it's all said and done. I digress. Let's not look at it in that fashion. Let's look at it like, hey, next year the guy will be rock loaded and ready to go. Lock loaded and ready to go. You guys get what I'm saying, right? All right, so Cowboy Nation. My thing is, I know a lot of people are asking around, like, how do the players feel about this moment? Are the players with their same momentum, with their same strength? Or are the players, are they balled in? They asked D-Law, hey, have you thought about going into the playoff? And D-Law looked at him and said, you know what? I'm just trying to get every game in when it's time for the game to play. Meaning that I'm going one day at a time, one game at a time. My mindset is not, playoff. No. And he's quietly been dominant on his side of the field and doing his magic. Shout out to the Laws, right? Let's talk about Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson doing his job. He's playing up to par. He's playing, playmaker-ish. He's doing his magic. I like what he's showing out there on the field. Donovan Wilson, he making plays. Does this mean that we should stop looking at safety? No. Does this mean that, hey, it's just because of the opposing team, don't scout Donovan Wilson? No, that doesn't mean that at all. What this do mean is that, hey, on this defensive side of the ball, you can build around Diggs. You can see the promise in Donovan Wilson. You can say to yourself, regardless of the situation, that you got 2 bookends. When Alden is hot, he's out there. When Randy Gregory hot, he's out there. You got D-Law who's solid against the run. So you got all of these things working in your favor. And all you have to do now is just capitalize off of that. Maybe you elevate and find another defensive back that can help you out. Maybe you can reach into the bag of goodies and play this thing out with going into the free agent pool and dancing around there. There's so many options. There's so many angles with this. And hopefully the Cowboys will figure this thing out and say, you know what, Law, we on our way. We on our way. But this all goes through proper planning. And remember, when you look at this particular roster and you look at everything, you would say to yourself, okay, Law, okay, Cowboys, let's do it this way. Those who fail the plan to fail, right? Let's plan this defense out. Let's figure out how we can improve the interior. The edge is okay, but let's see if we can really improve the interior, because if we can see that these guys are doing this in the secondary, man, you can only imagine if we can get more pressure from there. Now, Woods, I know he's injured or what have you. And, of course, we saw the comeback and the emergence of AB, our version of AB, got an interception. There's good and there's bad about it. The good thing is it shows a great tape. You know, you get your highlight reel out there. He's one of the guys with the futures contract, so you can look back and say, okay, yeah, he's a solid guy for us. But the bad part is you don't play a Nick Mullins every week, right? But interceptions, turnovers, and takeaways, they go down in the history book, whether it's Brett Favre or whether it's Nick Mullen or whether it's Tom Brady. Whoever throws you the ball, they don't say, well, it was against this quarterback. It goes down as an INT regardless, right? So what I'm trying to say is he could use that and say, okay, I can build off of that and I could try to, do a little bit better next year. And the Cowboys can look at it and say, yeah, let's add some pieces around it. So what I'm trying to say is, Cowboy Nation, let's build this defense, basically. Let's figure this thing out one way or another. And I think that the Cowboys, even though we won the last 2 games, we still need help on defense. We still need help in that area. All right, Cowboy Nation, let me know of your thoughts. Let me know how you guys feel about the argument's sake of the Tony Pollard and the Ezekiel Elliott. Why we just can't use both running backs. Split this thing down. My dog Akeem, that's in the chat, normally will give me all of the good information here, and he posted this. He said, Law, how about this? They restructure Ezekiel Elliott contract. They figure out how to add more pieces to the defense, and they split this carry thing all the way. That sounds like a brilliant idea, the restructuring. But my thing is, that means he's spreading his contract out even further, right? And on top of that, it takes 2 to tango. So Rocky Arsenal, who is Ezekiel Elliott's agent, got to agree to those situations. At the end of the day, Ezekiel Elliott got the guaranteed money. And once the money is guaranteed, it's guaranteed. And I've seen a few comments said, hey, remember this. Let's not get too excited off the sample size. And somebody posted down below and said, hey, Ezekiel Elliott, he's good. He's a power back. Keep in mind, he opens up everything for the offense, basically. And he said that actually Tony Pollard on the average 2.6 yards per carry. I reminded people when me and Big Gabe James and Scott Walker, we was calling the game. Yes, Tony Pollard averaged 2.6 yards per carry. But we got to understand this too. The 49ers was 5th against the run in the National Football League. They didn't get that by mistake. Let me repeat, they didn't get that by mistake. And they are one of the better running teams too. So I'm quite sure that they know how to defend the run by them being one of the better running teams. Because that's who they go up against every day in practice. One of the better running teams in the NFL. So all I'm saying is, yes, they had a bevy of injuries. We had a bevy of injuries too. But we came out on top. But it's nothing to run around, take your shirt off, and say, yeah, we made it. It's still in the evaluation stage. And we got a long way to go. We do. Cowboy Nation, if you like what you heard, hit that like button, share this content for more information. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. I'm on multiple platforms. Be sure to find me there at that name. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. I'm out. Peace.
Outstanding. Round 2.
Stephen, a major part of yesterday was Tony Pollard. Talk about how important he was to winning yesterday.
One of the things I was noticing, I was kind of looking as we were going there, Tony really didn't have a lot of yards till he broke off that last run. The fourth quarter against the Bengals, I think Zeke ripped off a 35, 40-yard run. If you're able to play, you're not trying to catch the game all the time, and you're playing with the lead. And, then ultimately, I think running the ball, you're going to eventually, break those big runs off. And that's so important. But obviously, Tony brings some great explosiveness to the game with his speed. We knew that coming out of Memphis. He's with the ball out of the backfield. I think there was a where they had a blitz on that if Andy could have gotten it to him, I'm not so sure he doesn't take that one to the house. But, he's just an explosive player. I think Zeke and him complement each other very well, and certainly the dynamic he brings in the return game as well is big time. So it's just great to have a player like him on our team. He stepped up big time yesterday and made a lot of big plays for us.
Well done.